That is phenomenal.
No one died. You know, back in the day, it used to be for every $1 million expended, you'd expect one death.
Yeah.
The safety standards down there are extraordinary. Tishman rigged up the most amazing thing. It's called a cocoon, basically a big net that around the building.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
So that it would protect the workers. It would mean that they wouldn't fall if they'd be caught if they fell. But their tools, you know, because they were up high.
Yep.
I mean, the wind was extraordinary.
I mean, I can tell you from working down there, you know, in the World Financial Center, you know, during the winter in the wind, and it's not near as tall.
Yep.
And it was incredible.
Extraordinary.
Yeah. Just walking down Vesey Street, it would be like, you know, somebody was pushing the other way.
I used to have to walk down Vesey Street to go to World Financial Center
Right.
when I lived on Greenwich, and I remember it well.
Yeah, some cold mornings. I remember that.
Yeah, the wind. It was like, wow, okay. But, you know, the guys, women too, but the iron workers,
Yes.
which are primarily men, they did, I can't even imagine the
You know,
job. When it snowed, do you remember the 2 horrible winters we've had? I interviewed 4 of the iron workers, and we were talking about the snow. What did you do when it snowed? Don't forget, they're 1,000 feet up, higher.
Yes.
They had to
Some
go
hard
up.
men. There's some hard men.
They
I'll tell
had
you
to
that.
bring, there was a dumpster up there. They had to shovel off
steel.
the beams
Yeah.
that are 10 inches
Yep.
wide, shovel them off, fill the dump. First, they had to shovel them, fill the dumpster, and if it was still icy, they had to blowtorch the
Yep.
beams before they could start working.
God bless them.
I can barely wrap my mind around that.
No, I've seen it, and you know, I always tip my hat to those. Actually, the president of the Iron Workers International actually lives in Mamaroneck, New York.
Oh,
Yes, Ed Too Tall Walsh.
yes.
Yes.
Eddie Walsh, he helped me
Eddie
with the
Walsh.
book.
Yes.
I
Good man.
included a number of logos. There were 49 unions that worked
Oh, you
at
must
the
have
World
ours in
Trade
there.
Center,
Yeah.
and they're in the book. And I was so proud to include them
Yeah.
because, you know, those logos are just so beautiful.
It's you know what's fun, and I haven't been in construction in a long time, but when you're in construction and you can take the time to look around and you realize these are very skilled people.
Oh, yeah.
You know, these are very skilled people who have become that way through, you know, years of work, study, and, you know, mentoring from other people. And when you see a job like this, and I hate to say this, I don't want to denigrate the rest of the country, but nobody in the rest of the country is going to see this. But who am I kidding?
You never know.
But when you see a job
Maybe we'll
like
be at
this,
the Cannes Film Festival, Tom.
I look at a job like this and I say to myself, only New York construction workers could have done that.
Now, why do you say that? I'm curious.
Why do I say that?
Yeah.
Because there is no other place that has the same level of skill. There's no other place that has the same level of accepting a challenge. And it's just, I have known these guys my whole life. I grew up with these guys.
Yep.
And, you know, they're going to do it. You know,
Yeah.
and no disrespect to architects and engineers, but a lot of times you'll get a plan.
Right.
And it doesn't exactly work the way they said it was going to work on paper.
Right, right.
And these guys figure out how to make it work.
How to build it.
Yeah, they don't go back to the architect. They say, "Well, this is what we got to do." You know, and
Yeah.
and I've seen guys, you know, pretty much, you know, do their own manufacturing, you know, on the job,
Yes.
because you know we're not going to. You know, the other thing is if I tell the architect he needs to redraw it, they're going to lay me off because now there's no work for me. So I'm going to
Well,
figure. Yeah.
you know what was so interesting is that the engineers figured out, because the One World Trade Center was built over live train tracks,
Right.
over the PATH train, the engineers were there first figuring out how are we going to plant this tower around
Yeah.
the train envelope, the track of the tracks. And then Tishman, the contractors, came in and figured out how are we going to build this.
Yes.
So they had already started the foundation work, was well underway before they finalized the design. Because don't forget, that building goes down 85 feet.
Wow.
It is the size of a very good sized skyscraper underground.
Right.
So the building strategy they worked out, shaved off 3 years off the schedule, at least.
Did you talk about the slurry wall at all?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Could you explain it a little? Because you know, I mean, I've always been fascinated by that.
Yeah, yeah. So when they built the original trade towers,
Yeah.
the excavation, you know, they had to build a slurry wall, which is the wall that holds back the Hudson River.
Exactly.
And so slurry is a material that you can pour in, and it's reinforced with steel.
Right.
And so it creates a tub, a bathtub,
Basically, yeah,
but
it's built in
it's
a
a
bathtub.
bathtub that's empty.
Yeah.
It's a bathtub that keeps the water out. But when the trade towers went down, those slurry walls were critical, because if they had let go, the entire site would have been flooded by the Hudson River. So those walls became a symbol. And Daniel Libeskind, who was the master planner, saw the power of those walls as a symbol, and they became a symbol of American resilience.
They held it together.
And they held it together. They held back the Hudson.
Because I don't think a lot of people know that land was not land.
People don't know, it was all underwater.
It was all underwater. That's all landfill.
Greenwich Street really marked the
Right.
original banks, but New York keeps expanding outward.
Now, when I was a kid,
We'll be part of New Jersey pretty soon.
pretty soon, yeah, we won't need a bridge.
Yeah, no more bridges. Ooh,
When I
Port
was a-
Authority won't like that.
When I was a kid, after they had built the Trade Center, where the World Financial Center was all sand.
Yes.
And
Art
we-
on the beach used to
We
have
used to,
events.
we used to climb over to, and fool around until somebody, there was always some guard there who would kick you out. But, you
Right.
probably got an hour of fooling around before you got kicked out.
Do you remember Creative Time had Art on the Beach every summer? It was
No,
so
no,
great.
I was getting into much trouble to do anything creative at
I
the
love
time.
You have
It
your
wouldn't
own-
have been. It wouldn't have been fun for me if they let me on it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had to go
okay.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting. So that landfill became Battery Park City.
Yes.
And then actually, when they built the new trade center, they actually excavated even
Oh, did they
deeper.
really?
And they reinforced the slurry walls on the Church Street side. Those walls were reinforced and extended as well. So, because the one train was also going through.
That's right. Because they had to redo the path station, right?
Totally.
So how did that work out? They were doing that while they were building the building?
They were doing that immediately.
Simultaneously.
The Port Authority, you have to remember there were many, many masters and many people who had a right
Yes.
to build. So you had the Port Authority, you had the City of New York, you had West Street, the West Side Highway.
Right.
That's a federal highway.
Right.
There were so many stakeholders. So the Port Authority, which runs and owns the PATH train, they immediately began. They lost 84 of their people on 9/11, and within days, they were planning how to rebuild. How are we going to get that PATH train running again, which is critical for New Jersey to bring people in. And there was the temporary station. It's a remarkable project. Can I show you something great in the book?
Please do.
Have you felt how great and heavy?
It is a lovely book, and it'd make a great birthday gift or for the holidays coming up.
Father's Day. It comes out April
Father's
26th.
Comes out April 26th. So
Yeah.
Father's Day. What do you want to show me?
And you feel good.
It's got a nice heft.
A nice heft.
Yes.
It's a great thing.
It would be good for your coffee table or
Good for your coffee table, but also at $35,
reasonably
I
priced.
want people to pick it up and look at it,
Yeah.
read it. But I just wanted to show you something. There's some very cool graphics in this book. But well, I guess I should probably show the camera. Can you show the camera?
Yes, I can show.
But this peels away the plaza, and you can see this underground Rubik's Cube at the site. Every building shares walls and foundations and roofs. It's completely interconnected.
It's interconnected. Yeah.
It's extraordinary.
It had to be a lot of cooperation
Huge.
between, and it's hard to get that kind of cooperation.
Steve Plate of the Port Authority, who
Okay.
was the head of construction at the World Trade Center, and who has just been named Master Builder,
Oh, really?
the
Good
first
for him.
since Robert Moses.
Some big shoes to fill there.
Huge, but Steve has got this. He's an engineer. He's from a
Yeah.
union family. Totally Zen calm.
Okay.
But he worked it out where, he mathematically figured out, all right, you have to place X number of pieces of steel today.
Okay.
And if you don't do X today, then you have to do X
X plus tomorrow.
tomorrow. There's some beautiful
It
illustrations.
is a gorgeous book.
Yeah, thank you.
It really is. I mean,
But Steve kept everyone in line, and he kept everyone's egos in check.
which is hard to
I
do.
mean, you'd have a wall opening, and there'd be 30 architects that were entitled to comment on it. So, we're lucky anything got built. But, it did because so many people cared so much, Tom.
Was Bloomberg, helpful in this?
Very helpful.
Yeah.
He was mostly involved with the 9/11 Memorial.
Right.
And he's the head of the 9/11, the National September 11th
Oh, is he?
Memorial Museum Foundation, yes. And he was very, very important. he worked out with Michael Arad the names that are surround each of the
Right,
memorial
right.
pools has a bronze parapet with beautifully incised names
Of
the
the
people
folks
that
who
died.
perished there.
And originally, the names are going to be placed alphabetically. First, they were going to be placed underground, and the families of
Yeah.
the victims protested. They didn't want the names underground.
I don't blame them.
So
That
the
makes
names
sense.
came up,
Yeah.
but then how did you arrange the names?
Yeah.
Because if you arrange the names alphabetically, it would have the heartlessness of a phone book.
Yeah.
So Maya Lin taught us this with the Vietnam Veterans Memorial
Memorial.
Wall. Because if you have a name like Smith or Johnson, you could have 20 people
Yeah.
with the same name. Then the idea came about that people would be placed by meaningful adjacency. So meaning that people that worked together,
Okay.
parents and children that
People on
died
the 89th
together,
floor. Yeah,
people
yeah.
that were related, people that by circumstance were together at the very end.
Oh, yeah.
And Michael Arad and his team, with the 9/11 Museum team, spent years, at least 2 years, a long time, getting those names placed, honoring every single family's request for the placement of the name.
Right.
And what's so wonderful is here we see the names on the memorial, but actually, the relationship of those names, there's like thousands of stories embedded
Right.
in who these people were and why are they together. It's really incredible.
And part of healing is allowing people to tell their story.
Exactly.
You know, and a lot of times, you know, after 9/11, people just needed to say what happened to them.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
And I think that was another reason why, it took a long time to build this building.
Yes.
But it was unlike any other
cathartic.
situation. Yes, it
Yeah.
was. It was. The arguments, the battles about what should we build,
Yeah.
how should we build it. Those are all the tools, the necessary psychological tools of reconciling the event.
Well, you know, we talked a little bit before about some people have criticized the architecture of it, but I can tell you, I'm obviously not an architectural critic, but I am a lifelong New Yorker.
Yes.
And I've come from generations of New Yorkers.
Yes.
And I think it is a great symbol of our city.
I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, I think it
And
is
the
too.
more you look at it,
The more you like it.
the more
and
and
this
the more
is a
you
great,
see.
This is a great
it
picture.
changes color. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, because it's got a nice kind of cloud, blue sky day, and a building does reflect that.
That's what it does.
When you're down there, you look up and you're like, whoa, that's really nice.
And it keeps changing every
Yes.
shade of blue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You got a gray day, it looks differently.
Yeah.
So it's not a boring building.
No, it keeps changing.
Yes, like New York.
Yeah. Yes,
There
exactly.
you go. There you go.
Yes.
That was a good one, Murph. But
2 points.
we are getting near time to wrap up.
All right.
This book, One World Trade Center, will be out in stores when?
April 26th.
April 26th, 4/26. And if you look in that area, there are a lot of other books by Judith Dupree. What other books can we talk about here? Just
Oh, Skyscrapers.
Skyscrapers, which is
Bridges.
a tall, thin book.
Yep.
Yes.
Skyscrapers is published in many languages,
Okay.
including Japanese and Arabic, many, many languages. And my big book on churches.
Churches. Book
And
on
then
Mary.
A book on the Virgin
The
Mary.
Virgin
My
Mary.
book on American monuments, which I'd love to have reissued. There are a number of events happening. New
Okay.
York Public Library is having a big event with many of the big participants on May 25th.
Okay.
The Mamaroneck Library is having an event on
Right here in
June, right here, free, open to the public.
Okay.
All
May
of these
25th
events.
here in Village of Mamaroneck.
No, May 25th, New York Public Library.
I got to wrap it up, but when is here?
June 8th.
June 8th in the Village of Mamaroneck Public Library. Thank you very much, Judith. This has been a great
Thank
show. I
you.
appreciate it.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks.
Happy.
Until next time, I'm Tom Murphy.